you, everybody, for coming to the THERES podcast YouTube page. If you could do me a quick favor, see that little subscribe button at the bottom of your screen? Go ahead, click that subscribe button. Really does help our channel grow, our audience grow, and I really do appreciate it more than you know. So click that subscribe button. Appreciate your support. Now, here's the video that you came here for. Let me say this. If you like the THERES pod or the THERES pod YouTube channel, and if you like college football, no need to worry, because I know some of you are going to worry and be concerned and how much football are you going to be talking over these next few weeks? Don't you worry. Even though the regular season is over, we get our conference championship games this week. Then we get about 3 weeks before the major bowl games and college football playoff begins. No need to worry. We're going to do plenty of college football. And that is because it is maybe my favorite time of the year, and that is transfer portal season, baby. That is right. Next 2 or 3 weeks, it is college football free agency, and we're going to cover it wall to wall. Now, technically, the portal does not open until next Monday, December 4th. But first of all, there's no real rules in college sports anymore. But what I will say is that technically, there are 2 types of players that can announce that they are transferring officially and be contacted right now, even though the portal doesn't open up until next Monday. Those players are graduate transfers. If you've graduated, you're free to transfer whenever you want. And also players whose coaches have left the program. So they got fired, they left for another job, etc. So for example, there are players at Texas A&M that could announce, Mississippi State, on and on. But why I bring it up is because while we've had a few names kind of pop up over the last couple of days, there have not been major superstar game-changing players, in my opinion, entering the portal, at least until Wednesday afternoon. That is because Duke star quarterback Riley Leonard, remember, Mike Elko, the head coach at Duke, left. Well, his star quarterback, Riley Leonard, on Wednesday, I guess it was officially reported, I believe, first by 24/7 Sports, then confirmed by ESPN, confirmed by everybody. Riley Leonard is in the transfer portal. I think he is the best player that has entered the portal so far, the biggest game changer. And guess what? We may already know where he's going. Let's break it all down. Okay, so Riley Leonard, for people who do not know, he is a really good player. Don't let this year's stats fool you. This year, unfortunately, he was hurt. And in a lot of ways, it is why Duke struggled. Remember, 2 years ago, Duke went 9-4. Riley Leonard was fully healthy. This year, he gets hurt game 7. They struggle and fall apart down the stretch. Frankly, I think his injury directly coincides with Mike Elko leaving. I think Mike Elko kind of looked at the writing on the wall and realized how hard it is going to be to win at Duke. All of the things that you need to go right. You can't have players hurt. And Riley Leonard is a perfect example of the kind of player that you cannot afford to lose if you are Duke. And unfortunately, they did. The good news for college football fans is he played fully healthy in the 2022 season last year. And we saw just how good this kid is, okay? This kid is an elite athlete, a true dual threat quarterback, about 6'4", and 2 seasons ago was one of the best players in college football. 2,900 yards passing, 20 touchdowns to just 6 interceptions, and also had 699 yards rushing and 13 rushing touchdowns, okay? If I could equate him to a player in college football, and I'm sure some people will get mad, they'll say it's a bad analogy, whatever. Kind of reminds me of Bo Nix, athletic, can make plays with his feet, but he's still accurate with his arm. And that was really who he was 2 seasons ago as the quarterback at Duke. Completed 2 seasons ago about 65% of his passes. And then this year, unfortunately, he did just get banged up. As I said, game 7 of the year, he gets hurt against, game 6, really, he got hurt against Florida State, tried to play against Louisville. He goes down against Louisville and does not come back. This year, he threw for just 1,100 yards, really, and 3 touchdowns, but clearly wasn't the same player. Duke fell apart without him. And so ultimately, he's deciding that rather than testing the NFL draft waters, he is going to come back, try to get healthy, and try to be put in a better position to win now that Mike Elko is gone at Duke. Frankly, listen, I'm not this kid's advisor. It's not my place to say. I think it does make sense, though, for him to return to college football for another year for multiple reasons. One, if he isn't healthy, he's not only not going to put his best foot forward, no pun intended, because he has a toe injury, but he's not going to put his best foot forward in the NFL draft process. But of equal importance, which I don't think people talk about enough, is that, it's not only that he didn't play well this year, and that the tape that he is going to be, that evaluators are going to be using, his most recent tape isn't going to be his strongest tape. But more importantly, as I said, during the draft process, is he going to be healthy? Is he going to be able to show who he is and what he's capable of. So instead, he'll come back, he'll rehab during the offseason, he'll come back healthy, and he will try to play college football next year and improve that draft stock. And by the way, improve it in a year where the quarterback class does not look nearly as strong at the top. We know that Caleb Williams, Drake May, Bo Nix, Michael Penix are almost certainly at the top this year. We'll see what Quinn Ewers decides to do. But outside of Quinn Ewers coming back, there's no obvious first-round talent next year. Maybe Shedeur Sanders if they figure out the O-line. But the bottom line is if he comes back, there's a chance that he moves up draft board significantly. Enough beating around the bush. Last part, because I want to get to some other stuff. A lot of you probably wondering, you said, Torres, there's a leader in the clubhouse. Who could it be? Now, let me start by saying this. First of all, I heard even before he entered the portal that there were whispers about Notre Dame. And let me start with doing the whole caveat. I know what tampering is. I know it's not allowed. Certainly, I don't encourage it, but I also think this is a little bit of a unique scenario. This is a kid that's not only talented, but his coach left. And so we know that he's going to open up his own opportunities, and we know that he's probably going to look at other options, because Mike Elko left and he wants to see what else is out there. So he's not going to the NFL. The reports are, as I said, that Notre Dame could be the next school. And bluntly, I think it makes a lot of sense, in my opinion, for the next landing spot for Riley Leonard, okay? Because when you look at Notre Dame, first of all, good track record this year of an improved quarterback play and what it can mean for that program. Sam Hartman comes in and listen, I know they went 9-3, but a last-second loss to Ohio State. You look at the rest of Notre Dame's schedule, they had a bad game against Louisville, but that last-second loss to Ohio State, they did take a loss to Clemson late in the year, but overall, Notre Dame's a really good team. But to compete at the highest level, and we talked about this last year with Sam Hartman, you need that difference maker at quarterback. And so Notre Dame, what they basically said is, look, we figured out the running back room, the wide receiver room, the tight end room. Remember, Michael Mayer was the best tight end in college football 2 seasons ago, figured out the O-line. And the defense this year was top 10 nationally. So this narrative that, Notre Dame's slow and unathletic, no, they were great defensively. They're very good at the skill positions. They're great on the offensive line. What they need is elite quarterback play. I don't know if you would qualify what Sam Hartman did this year as that, but the bottom line is you look at the situation at Notre Dame, if they have a quarterback, they're going to be able to compete at the highest level. So that makes sense from Notre Dame's perspective. I think it makes sense from Riley Leonard's perspective. It's also worth noting, by the way, one of Notre Dame's top prospects in the class of 2024 high school class is CJ Carr, the grandson of former Michigan head coach Lloyd Carr. No, he's not going to Michigan. He's a 5-star quarterback recruit. He's going to Notre Dame. So this kind of gives that buffer. Riley Leonard comes for a year. Riley Leonard balls out. Riley Leonard goes to the NFL. CJ Carr steps in as a redshirt freshman or true sophomore in 2025 and takes over from there. The other school that I think is going to get a lot of traction, and he's not going to go down without fighting, Auburn and Hugh Freeze. Riley Leonard is from Fairhope, Alabama, about 2.5 hours from the Auburn campus. And listen, everybody in the SEC is going to get involved. I mean, it was interesting that, Matt Rule actually put out his commentary on, I think it was Wednesday or Tuesday, where he was kind of asked about the portal and asked about upgrading the quarterback position. And he said bluntly, he's like, you understand that to get the kind of quarterback that you guys want, it's going to cost upwards of $1 million. And so I just bring it up because a player of Riley Leonard's caliber, the schools with the money are certainly going to pursue him. And Auburn makes a ton of sense because I think next year they're going to be much improved. They already have a 5-star wide receiver named Perry Thompson committed, flipped from Alabama. There's another kid named Cam Coleman who lives literally right down the street from Auburn, committed to Texas A&M, but most believe he'll ultimately flip to Auburn. So you'll have elite talent around you. You can kind of be that difference maker in your home state, elevate the program, et cetera, 12-team college football playoff era. Not saying Auburn will be there just yet next year, but they certainly need quarterback help. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what goes on. But Riley Leonard, I would argue, the first really big name to enter the transfer portal, and it'll be fascinating to see where he ends up. If you enjoyed this video, do me a favor, make sure to subscribe to the Aaron Torres Podcast YouTube channel. New videos, new episodes of the show every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.